houses in my property that was asking about Wack. Wack, loose cannon, 600, and this internet stuff. Wack said 100 times he was gonna take my contracts. He working with the FBI. The FBI went to the city 3 days in a row and told the city they didn't want nobody to give me no more money. They went to all the different celebrities and told all the different celebrities, don't give me no money, don't help me, don't do nothing for me. They going around scaring and intimidating everybody.
Wack 100 always talks tough about exposing snitches, but now the word on the street is flipping back on him. People saying he might be the one tied up with the feds. His whole name in the rap world is starting to look real shaky, and the evidence stacking up is wild. Everything blew up around March 2025 when Big U and nearly 20 people from the Rollin 60s got snatched in a massive RICO bust. Court papers and leaked reports got Wack's name written all over them. Cops claim Big U and his guy Bay pressed someone, warning them to stop doing business with Wack because they thought he was acting like an informant. Rumors say Big U even caught Wack off guard one night. Word is, Wack was with his wife and daughter when Big U pulled up deep, 20 men strong. Sources say Wack had his piece but panicked, begging, "Don't do this, my family's right there." That moment spread fast through the streets. And that's not all. Investigators had Big U's phone tapped and caught him talking wild, saying he was ready to break Wack's jaw. Another call had him bragging that before turning himself in, he planned to handle Wack personally. He later went on video, calling him a Fed in disguise and saying the truth was gonna come out soon. Another name caught up in Big U's massive RICO case is Brick Baby. And Wack 100's been calling him a snitch for a minute. Things got messy fast after the Lil Durk case popped off, where Durk and his OTF crew faced serious charges over the passing of Wando, who was Lil Pop's cousin. Wack's convinced Brick Baby's been working with the feds against Durk from the start. Wack claimed Durk and Brick Baby used to be locked in tight, but once Brick started talking, that's when people began saying Durk was tied to the whole situation. According to Wack, Brick went on No Jumper and basically dry snitched on Durk's crew, dropping names like, "Oh, who?" Nah, because Lil 5, and leaving everyone side-eyeing him. Then, not long after that interview, the feds raided Brick Baby's house and found an AK-47. At first, folks thought it was just a weapon case. But Wack swore the real reason for the raid was to get Brick's phone, the same phone that could tie back to Lil Durk. To make it crazier, whispers started spreading that Brick snitched on Big U too. But then, out of nowhere, Wack flipped the script, saying Brick Baby was actually a victim in all this. What's really going on here? In this wild Big U case, things took an even darker turn when rumors started flying that he'd been extorting Brick Baby.
What?
Yeah.
They say you can't say that no more.
Why? Oh yeah, because of no. Like
They
who
say
died?
you can't say that no more.
Oh, because of FBG Cash? Or who?
Nah, because Lil Pop.
Wack 100 claimed Big U was the real reason Brick got locked up, saying the feds caught him slipping on a wiretap, talking way too much about Brick while bragging on the phone. Word on the street says Big U had Brick Baby breaking him off a cut from everything he made in the streets. The tapped calls allegedly caught Big U talking about Brick handing him money after hitting a move, and once the cops heard that, it was game over. But here's where it gets shady. People started calling Wack the real Fed after he somehow knew about the Big U RICO before it even went public. He even called in to No Jumper and claimed he tried to warn Big U's wife that a storm was coming. Then, when Big U turned himself in and called Wack an informant, Wack went on a rampage, airing him out all over social media. But it backfired hard. Instead of clearing his name, Wack ended up fueling more talk that he was the snitch. He even started spilling details about Big U's old case, the one tied to a man named Rayan Williams, who was found in the desert near Las Vegas. This mess just keeps getting deeper. Rayshawn Williams wasn't just some random name in this story. He was a rapper signed to Big U's own label, and before that, he was one of Big U's football players back in the day. Big U had coached him when he was just starting out, so their connection went way back. What makes it even more personal is that Big U's son, Dion Henley, now playing in the NFL for the Chargers, also grew up tight with Rayshawn. Big U hasn't been convicted in the case tied to Rayshawn's pass, but Wack 100 didn't hold back. He claimed Diane doesn't even speak to his dad anymore because, according to him, Big U took out his homie.
It was Big U today.
How do
And
you
this
know?
stupid motherfucker, let me tell you
How
this.
do you know?
I know because he got a contract with World Star. World Star is trusted, right? He called and get it put up because he emotional because we've been exposing his ratting, right? Now we got paperwork to his ratting, so it's different, right? So when he went and got that put up, World Star just trusted the dude. They put it up.
Wack even said Big U used to beat Diane down 6 or 7 different times, calling him a monster who destroyed his own family and took an innocent man's life. That rant had people going wild online, calling Wack the snitch for speaking so recklessly about an open case. While he was out there defending himself, everyone kept asking the same question. How did Wack know all this before it even hit the news? Then Wack dropped a supposed bombshell, saying he got inside info from Rayshawn's sister. He even played a call where she allegedly told him that investigators found Big U's DNA under Rayshawn's fingernails. Wack said that's how he knew the feds were about to crack down on Big U hard. But here's where things twist. Wack's story started falling apart. After Big U got arrested, Wack called into No Jumper again and claimed Adam 22 had been picked up by the feds too. Turns out that was completely false. Pure cap. Wack keeps exposing himself every time he tries to expose someone else. Adam 22 later cleared the air with DJ Vlad, saying straight up he was never arrested. So that rumor Wack spread was pure nonsense. But that didn't stop the streets from buzzing about Wack 100 and Big U's long-running beef over snitching. This feud didn't start yesterday. It's been brewing for years. Back in 2024, a World Star hip-hop documentary dropped that allegedly exposed Wack as an informant. Wack and his lawyers rushed to shut it down, suing to get the video removed. According to Wack, Big U was the one who secretly paid World Star to post it in the first place. That move sparked another round of public shots between the two, and things only death got dirtier from there. Big U started calling Wack the biggest snitch in LA, but Wack fired right back. He claimed he had paperwork proving Big U and Brick Baby were the real ones working with the feds, supposedly snitching on Jersey rapper Sue Surf, who's connected to the Rollin 60s just like them. Sue Surf and his crew had been caught up in a RICO case, and Wack swore both Big U and Brick helped investigators. But here's where it gets wild. That same World Star documentary got pulled down, and a YouTube channel called Street Certified News jumped in, doing a deep dive on the whole thing. They said Wack really was caught up in a messy case, one that somehow involved NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal. According to their report, back in 2008, a Main Street mafia crip known as Stutterbox was producing music under Shaq's label. Then things exploded when Stutterbox allegedly got involved with Shaq's wife and claimed he had a tape of their encounter. From there, the story went completely off the rails, and Wack's name somehow ended up tangled in the chaos. So here's where things take a dark twist. Shaq allegedly sent some Main Street Mafia Crips to snatch up Stutterbox after hearing what he'd said about that supposed tape. Reports say they roughed him up, and Shaq's business manager at the time, Mark Stevens, was allegedly tied into the whole setup. 5 months after that kidnapping, police caught Mark Stevens on a wiretap talking to a man named Dale, believed to be the leader of the Main Street Mafia Crips. In the call, Mark asked, "You want to talk to Wack?" And Dale instantly said, "Nah." Turns out Wack and Stutterbox were actually cool back then. They lived near each other and even partied together. But whispers started spreading that Wack might have been giving the cops inside info on the gang. The files show that during one of those calls, Mark Stevens said Wack hit him up out of nowhere asking for help. According to police paperwork, there was a confidential informant listed as Back, and investigators wrote that Back had been trying to reach Dale, leaving multiple messages on Mark's phone. People started saying Back was actually Wack 100 himself, and that he was calling to warn Dale that Stutterbox had turned into a rat. Eventually, Dale and a few others from Main Street Mafia got locked up for the kidnapping, but the case fell apart from lack of evidence and was dropped.
Listen, I'm putting it together. I'm going to give you some time. I don't know, 24 hours, 12 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, 1 hour. I don't know. I'm going to give you some time, though, Gunner, for you to go ahead on and confess. Confess to the world about all they're telling you.
Wack later bragged that he helped save the crew from prison. But his alleged name in those court files only made the rumors louder. Every move he makes just keeps adding to the talk that Wack 100 might really be too close to the feds. This next piece of paperwork on Wack 100 takes things to a whole new level, and people are calling it the biggest proof yet that he's been working with the feds for nearly 20 years. It all traces back to 2005, when Wack and his brother got pulled over for speeding in Texas. Wack told the cops they were headed to a funeral in Oklahoma, but when officers asked to search the car, he straight up said, no. That's when things got serious. They brought in a K9 unit, and the dogs found a shotgun, a rifle, and a pistol hidden inside the car. Both Wack and his brother were already convicted felons, so just being around those weapons meant instant charges. They got booked on weapon possession, but Wack quickly posted bail and went back to LA, where he was working with Suge Knight over at Death Row Records at the time. Fast forward 2 years. Suge's empire starts collapsing, and the cops launched a huge investigation to take him and his crew down. But somehow, Wack's name never showed up in the official files. Not once. Then, out of nowhere, the Main Street Mafia Crips got indicted for the Stutterbox kidnapping, and boom, Wack's name reappeared in their paperwork. What happened next had everyone talking. Right after those indictments dropped, Wack's entire weapon case in Texas just disappeared. He told everyone it was tossed out because of lack of evidence, but court records said something else completely different. The official reason? Dismissed in the interest of justice. That's not something the courts just hand out, unless someone's helping them behind the scenes. Wack tried to explain his attack case by saying the cops searched his car illegally, but the paperwork tells a whole different story. Turns out that excuse was straight cap. Nothing's been officially confirmed, but whispers say Wack started working with federal agents right after that Texas arrest and kept feeding them information for years. The wildest part? Wack's built his whole image around calling other rappers snitches. Yet half the time, he's got zero paperwork to back it up. Remember when Gunna got hit hard during the YSL RICO case and took that Alford plea admitting YSL was a gang? Wack jumped online, claiming he had a 2-hour interrogation video where Gunna supposedly said even more. He swore he was giving Gunna a chance to confess. But if he didn't, Wack threatened to drop the entire video for the world to see. But Gunna never responded. And surprise, Wack never posted a thing. Just more smoke and no fire. And he didn't stop there. Wack tried to stain another legend's name too. He went after BG, saying the New Orleans icon was snitching, but once again, there wasn't a single receipt. BG, who signed with Birdman's Cash Money label at just 12 years old, built his whole rep on being real, and fans weren't about to let Wack's words slide this time. The streets started wondering, how's Wack calling everyone a snitch when his own past looks this sketchy? Back in 2009, things went downhill for BG when cops pulled him over and found 3 weapons in his car. That charge hit hard. He got sentenced to 14 years behind bars, but after serving 11, he finally came home in 2023 to a wave of love from fans and rappers everywhere. It should have been nothing but celebration, until Wack 100 jumped in again, spreading rumors that BG had snitched on someone. The problem? He had zero proof. In fact, BG's former cellmate even came out in an interview saying BG had nothing but respect on the inside.
Wack even got clowned by Adam 22 because he was talking crazy about Jay Diggs and still ducked the fade when Jay Diggs tried to link up with him.
If you bring up Jason Love, I'm gonna bring up Jay Diggs.
So
When
what?
are we squabbling?
And so what? Jay Diggs don't want to come playing with me, bro.
Yeah, he was here trying to line up the fade.
He don't see. That's the problem. Here goes the problem.
No, the problem is, I just want to clarify, I'm only bringing up the thing that you don't want to talk about because you are bringing up a fake story
You
about
met
me.
a man that your
You
wife.
ducking Jay Diggs is real spill.
What I ducky man.
But Wack kept running his mouth anyway. And that sparked serious tension with Birdman and Boozy. Boozy even clapped back publicly, calling Wack a clown. Fans started saying Wack was just lying about paperwork again to stir the pot. Wack's reputation only got worse from there. He's infamous for recording private phone calls and playing them live on Clubhouse, the same app where he spends hours exposing people and bragging about having receipts. But the fact he's constantly recording others made him look even more like a Fed. It didn't stop with rumors either. Wack started making straight-up wild accusations of takeout. He went on No Jumper and claimed West Coast rapper Jay Diggs, who was tight with the late Mac Dre, was the one responsible for Mac Dre's unsolved 2004 eliminating. That was already out of line, but then Wack said something even crazier, that Jay Diggs supposedly set up his own son to get takeout. That statement sent shockwaves across the hip-hop community. Even longtime Wack supporters started questioning what was real and what was just pure chaos for clout. Nobody really knows how the beef between Wack 100 and Jay Diggs even started, but it got ugly fast. Jay fired back with a diss track called Three Finger Wack, dropping lines like, "Andra, you a hoe-ass kid. You don't want this beef, but you talk too much like you don't want your teeth." He called Wack out directly, saying he was ready to pull up to Clubhouse and expose everything. Things got even more embarrassing for Wack when Adam 22 clowned him online, saying he was all talk after he ducked Jay Diggs' challenge to meet up face-to-face. The internet had a field day roasting Wack for running his mouth but never showing up when it's time to stand on it. And Jay Diggs wasn't the only one taking shots. Gucci Mane jumped in too. On one of his tracks, he spit, "Bluffin' in raps, I don't make threats, nah, I promise. I just drop bands like commas." Don't even ask me about loss, folks. I ain't got no comment. I run my S up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 100. I ain't arguing on no internet. I'm not Wack 100. That line alone had social media lit. Everyone knew exactly who Gucci was aiming at. Now, nobody can say for certain that Wack's an informant, but with all these stories and rumors swirling, it's getting harder to ignore the pattern. And let's be real, it's strange how Wack built his whole brand on calling out snitches, but still linked up with the biggest one in the game. After 6ix9ine flipped on his own crew and walked free, the rap world turned its back on him, except Wack 100. He still became his manager and business partner. To this day, fans can't figure out how a man who claims to hate snitches was fine working side by side with one. The hypocrisy is loud. There's even talk that No Jumper itself might be tied to some kind of Fed setup. People online claim Adam 22 and Wack 100 be airing out too much real street business on that podcast, and some even say Wack purposely gets guests like Loose Cannon to slip up and self-snitch so law enforcement can use it later. But to be real, there's no solid proof of that. And just because someone talks too freely on a podcast doesn't mean the show is working with the cops. Still, the rumors keep growing louder every week. Now, when it comes to Wack himself, opinions are split. Some swear he's an informant who's been playing both sides, while others think he's just scared the feds are coming for him next. The same way they came for Big U. Whispers say Wack's been strong-arming and extorting people behind the scenes, and now that heat is starting to catch up. He's acting nervous lately, and fans think he knows that indictment could be one phone call away. At this point, it's all rumors. But in the rap world, perception is reality. Nobody outside those circles really knows what's going on behind the curtains. But one thing's clear. Wack's name is messy, and his image is hanging by a thread. Whether he's truly a Fed or just caught in the storm, his reputation might already be done for. 'Cause once people start believing you're working with the law, it doesn't even matter if it's true anymore. In hip-hop, rumors can bury you faster than the facts ever will. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about the truth behind Wack 100's story? See you on the next one.